Welcome back to the Ultimate Wellness Group. Thank you for joining us today. Today's discussion will be about weed, the loud, the blunt. Yes, it's a popular thing. I would say that the majority of young people have either experienced it or know somebody who has. It's becoming more popular as a daily or a common or a party drug. It's been popular to a certain degree, but it's increasing. And so today I'd like to discuss weed because there are so many people that have information that marijuana is good or the THC or the cannabinoids in it are good for you. And I would agree that they are, but the problem is that the majority of people are smoking it, and smoking is not going to get you the benefits that you believe they are. So let's discuss marijuana. You're talking about the plant that people take, dry it out, put it in a cigarette or some paper and smoke it. And so I would challenge everyone listening to think about if we were to take that blunt or that however you smoke it and put that out on your hand. We, put it out like we do in an ashtray. You all know that it would cause a burn. And let's say that I come back tomorrow and I put it out in the same place. Every day I'm going to come out and I'm going to put that blunt out on your skin in the same spot that I did before. Your common sense tells you that that area would not only continue to get worse, but it would never heal. And so I'm challenging those who think that you're getting a positive by smoking it, that there's potential some benefit, but it's not going to benefit you in the long run because the negatives are going to outweigh the positives. And what do I mean by that? The activity of marijuana, the THC aspect and the cannabinoid aspect. And I'm only going to use those two as just basic words because there are so many different ways that THC can be altered, meaning that there are byproducts of tetrahydrocannabinol, and then there's a separate thing called cannabinoids, and we have cannabinoid receptors in our body and our brain. Those two things act in the body differently. The cannabinoids are very good at promoting improved immune system, promoting health in the body. THC is more of the aspect that gives the euphoria or the high feeling. And so both of them, the tetrahydrocannabinol and the cannabinoids, both have many different byproducts. All of them serve a purpose. Marijuana has a very common reality to vegetables. And I'll do another video on the vegan lifestyle, but the reason why the vegan lifestyle doesn't make sense from a vegetable perspective is because vegetables do not release their nutrients unless there's some heat added to them. And that's the way marijuana works. If you were to eat some marijuana, it would be more beneficial to cook it and drink it as a tea, or cook it and eat it as a steamed or a heated plant. And a lot of people don't realize that if you go and you eat a hemp brownie or a hemp this or hemp that, or when they put THC in certain foods, you can get a high just like smoking weed. That is the THC component. When you hear people talk about the medical benefits of cannabinoids, like people who may be going through cancer and are sick and they have a lot of vomiting, the cannabinoid is the one that improves that. When you hear some of these studies where people are talking about people with memory problems, the medical term for memory problems is dementia. Most people, when they're talking about dementia, they use the word Alzheimer's. That's a specific type of memory problem. It's the most common type. So when you hear people talking about using marijuana to benefit memory problem patients, it's the cannabinoid aspect, not the THC aspect that is giving the benefit. And so when we are looking at the benefits of a substance that has to be heated before it starts to release those good substances, and then you compare that and associate that with what I just finished talking about putting that out on your skin, think about the fact that every time you take that deep inhalation of something that is that hot, if I can take that and put it on your skin and burn your skin, when I'm inhaling that heat, I'm burning the inside of my mouth and burning the inside of my nose and the whole breathing apparatus, the sinuses, the trachea, the lungs, all of that is being burned every day. I'm sorry. You will not get the benefits that you believe by smoking marijuana. When people smoke cigarettes, they usually take deep inhalations, but it's been studied that the person that smokes marijuana takes even a deeper inhalation. The common reality long-term of smoking is that you burn all of the areas where the smoke is going. And we commonly associate that with emphysema, these days called COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. That's from that burn of those tissues happening over and over again every day. Just like scar tissue on the skin, that scar tissue starts to tighten up. Your lungs don't open up as well. So you see these people that have been smoking for long years and they can barely breathe. When they walk, sometimes they can't even get their words out because they're so short of breath because the lung doesn't have the capacity to open up. That's your future as a weed smoker. That's gonna happen because you're destroying those tissues in your lungs. You cannot avoid that, thinking that the heat is going to cause some damage, but the cannabinoid is going to come right back and help produce some healing. Yes, it is true, but it will not produce enough healing to keep you having good lung function as the years go by. And today's weed is not as pure as it used to be. That's why you can go and you can get moon rocks, whereas the normal THC levels over the years have usually been less than 5%, but the back in, let's say 10, 15, 20 years ago, the most potent weed was 5 to 7% THC. But now you're having moon rocks that they say is averaging somewhere between 50 to 70% THC. And you got sun rocks that are averaging between 60 to 80, sometimes 90 THC. And then you got this stuff out there that averages 80 to 100 or kind of stays up there about around 100% THC. I'm forgetting the name on those, but that is very high levels of THC that's going into the body. At the same time, the body is being damaged as that's going into the body. And a lot of us haven't done enough research to understand that high levels of THC alter men and women's hormones. So a man that is smoking high levels of THC is going to have a problem continuing to produce his testosterone correctly. So you not only lose the ability to maintain the male physical structures, but you also tend to lose the male, that psyche of being strong and wanting to protect your family, protect your people, and fight against things that are trying to come against your community. And so we have a lot of rappers out there across this country. I'm from the West Coast. And so you got Trey D, you got Corrupt, you got Game, you got Snoop Dogg, a lot of other rappers who have promoted this weed, this high THC weed, from the perspective of how high you can get. They're very popular, so a lot of people are getting into it, but they don't know the science behind these things. They're probably making a lot of money, but the science behind this is that your sperm levels, once you smoke weed for long periods of time, is decreased. And if the testosterone that you make is being inhibited, then that means you are being feminized. You're being turned away from the strength that testosterone brings a man. Testosterone does not just affect your genitals and your chest. Testosterone is highly associated with what you do and how you think as a man, how you react to certain things as a man should, through the testosterone effect on the brain. In addition, women who smoke a lot of high THC weed commonly have problems with their menstrual cycle. Anytime a woman has a problem with her menstrual cycle, that means your fertility is being affected. The monthly cycle is on a rhythm. The rhythm is controlled by the way the earth rotates around the sun. The woman's rhythm and her cycle is also related to the aspect of the moon and where the moon is. All of these things show the connection between these bodies and the universe that we live in. So anybody that is listening to this, that's how I come to a conclusion that these bodies were made by something more superior than us. I call that God. Because there are so many different things that checks and balances this body to make sure it stays correctly. But when we start doing things and calling it good, or because somebody else called it good, said it was healthy, I know there are these so-called health gurus out there. Dr. Sebi smokes weed. Dr. Layla Africa talks about smoking weed. There are other people that discuss marijuana and its benefit. If you are smoking it, I'm sorry, it's not going to give you what you think it's going to give you. It's going to cause you more negatives in the long run, and it will be suffering, because burning up your breathing apparatus is going to give you a much shorter life than if you would try to find a way to get the benefits of marijuana, the THC and the cannabinoids. If that's what you want, then find a different way. I am not suggesting that people should get high. I think getting high through drugs and substances is inadequacy. We're lacking something when we have to go to something to get high. When you learn and you're able to use what you learn to benefit society and you help people, that is a high that is unmatchable. There is no smoking, no injecting or snorting that's going to get you high, taking pills that's going to get you high like it is when you do something good for people. When you give the gifts and the talents that God has blessed you with and you give that to somebody and you benefit their life, that's a high that can't be matched by anything on this planet. So I'm hoping that this video will suggest to you to do some more research. There's plenty of information out there. And you can always send me questions if you want me to answer some questions more specifically. But we have to get away from thinking, oh, weed is from nature, man. God made that, so it's going to be good for me to smoke. If you keep using that deceptive intelligence, there's going to come a time where breathing is going to be so bad for you that you will probably make the type of statements that I've had many long-term smokers say to me. I wish I had never touched a cigarette. That's how painful it is to be 50, 60, 70, 80 years old and you can't breathe without an oxygen tank. You can't walk from your bedroom to your bathroom without losing your breath. You can't do any of the things that you enjoy doing in life because you get so short of breath because you suck this heat in and tore your lungs up for so many years. Now it's hell that you're living through every day. I'm passionate about trying to help people. And I'm passionate about hopefully helping people not get medical problems. Prevent them. You got to use this, though. Somebody's making a lot of money off of the black community getting high. Somebody's making a lot of money off the black community drinking alcohol. Somebody's making a lot of money off of us eating bad food and the diseases that we manifest from that. Somebody's making a lot of money off of us gambling. These things are making people billionaires. And if we would use a different approach to how to solve our problems, a different approach on how we get the benefits of life and feeling so good because we get a natural high from doing some good things, then there would be some people that would be broke within a few months. And our community would be a lot better because we're starting to use that money to benefit our own reality. So I hope that you learn something today. I hope that you go and you do some more research about marijuana, cannabis, cannabinoids, tetrahydrocannabinol, because there are some benefits, but you have to figure out what is the best way to get it into your body if you're really seeking benefits versus you just want to get high. Because there's a saying that we have in medicine. You have to always balance the risks and the benefits. And I'm just here to say, this is not a judgment. I used to smoke weed, so I'm not downing anybody that's doing it. I'm asking you to do research and think about what is happening. The more high you get and the more you get high, what is going to happen in the future. Prevention is the best way to have good health in the future. It's preventing any disease, preventing any problem by your daily activities. And so I'm suggesting that those of you who smoke a lot of weed, you have to stop. And those of you who have influence on people, you should do more research so that you know what it is that you are influencing people to do. It's got to be bigger than the money. So I thank you for joining the Ultimate Wellness Group today. I hope you learned something, and I hope you do some research so that you can become educated, and so that we can have a future where we are disease-free and happy and high on life. Thank you for tuning in to the Ultimate Wellness Group.